Welcome back to MidPoint. Also, welcome back political analyst and commentator Dick Morris, who joins us here for a few minutes that we have to go ahead and knock over some midterms here, Dick. You mentioned Scott Walker a couple of moments ago. Still quite a nail-biter in Wisconsin. For Scott Walker, in the last week or so, how do you think he's done in trying to at least get something of a lead there?
He's had a lead consistently in the last 4 or 5 or 6 polls, and I think but it's a very slim lead. Now it's 1 point. But I think that he will pull it out. He has pulled out past races in previous times. The overview of this, Ed, is that there are 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 really close races within 1 point. And you have to match the Democratic field organization, which is better than the Republican ground game, because they paid union members that go around and do it and get time off from their jobs to do it, as opposed to the lack of enthusiasm for the president and for the Democratic Party. The Democrats now have always had enthusiasm and manpower together. Now they have the manpower but not the enthusiasm, and I'm not sure that they'll be effective in getting vote out.
I want to mention Georgia here, too, because it's an interesting race. Michelle Nunn apparently has a very thin lead over the Republican David Perdue, but how much effect do you think Amanda Swafford will have there?
That's it, the Libertarian candidate.
Right.
That's the key thing. I wouldn't pay much attention to who's ahead in Georgia or in Louisiana. They're both going to be headed for runoffs. The runoffs will be conducted in an environment where the Republicans have either won the Senate or 1 vote shy. The standard Democratic sheriff county judge vote doesn't come out in the runoff because their local guy isn't up. And I think those will both end up Republican victories.
How about Scott Brown in New Hampshire? Is he going to get lucky there again?
Well, that's more problematic. I would say that of the 10 races that we might win for Democratic seats in the Senate, Brown is probably 10th most likely. I personally don't believe he's going to win, but there's a chance. He's been nipping at Sheehan's heels all the time, and on some polls has been ahead.
Do you also agree with those people who say that if indeed in North Carolina Tillis beats Hagan, that is the indicator then of a potential Republican sweep?
Well, I think that Tillis could win or lose, and we would still win the Senate. I think we have 6 seats without him. But Tillis certainly would be an indicator of a sweep. The incumbent Hagan got into big trouble the other day when it came out that she recommended a North Carolina judge to Obama for a district court appointment 9 days after the judge ruled in favor of her husband in a litigation. And her husband was not only the client who was suing, but his firm was the attorney who was doing the lawsuit. And Hagan, 9 days later, recommended him for a district court judgeship. She withdrew it when she was caught, and she claimed she didn't know that.
There we go. It's all just wonderful politics. Dick Morris, always a pleasure. Reminder again, don't forget Dick Morris's new book, Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation, now available at local bookstores or Amazon.com. Dick, always a pleasure. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. Obamacare is going to be a major factor in the decision process of most voters when the midterm elections come to call. And in this edition of Countdown to Midterms, we turn our attention to the state of Alaska.
Republicans won Alaska back. Democrat Mark Begich took it from them in 2008 when he ousted the longest-serving Republican senator in U.S. history, Ted Stevens. But he's not going anywhere without a fight, given he's a first-term senator who supported Obamacare in a state that didn't. Begich knew early on he'd be a target. To shrink the bullseye on his back, experts said he would need to run a serious and credible campaign, something political analysts agree he's doing. In a state where Democrats are the underdog, any misstep could be detrimental. The one near slip when Begich tried to link himself to Alaska's senior senator, moderate Republican Lisa Murkowski, that backfired when she announced her support for his challenger, Dan Sullivan. Even with Begich's performance on the campaign trail, where he emphasizes local issues like homeland security and veterans affairs, Begich is beginning to slide in the polls to Sullivan, a lieutenant colonel in the United States Marine Corps. Sullivan's military status and agenda for veterans affairs could be a problem for Begich. The Associated Press reports Alaska is home to 35,000 stationed troops, and 1 out of every 10 residents is a veteran. Both are stumping hard for that vote, with frequent visits to American Legion and VFW posts to lay out their plans for the last frontier.
When it comes to